All right, you got to turn the cameras back on and microphones each time. So okay, you got it, Devin. Great, Jason got it. Nice, got the
I like
swag.
those glasses, man. Look at that.
You love the
Yeah,
glass.
these are cool. Yeah, a little bit of modifications. They got the logo here. So let's see that
It's awesome. Right on.
on the side. Yeah, on the side it has the logo, and then this side here.
Very good.
Anyway, well, we want to make the most of this session. I know you have a lot to share, and I'm excited to hear myself. So we had a show on Sky Include channel and about the .legit story, and we on that show, I think we confirmed to do this. So you all have backgrounds in various backgrounds that I think are very valuable for our community to share about branding and building. So I think I'm going to pass it to Kirk, and I think I'll hide off. I'll go backstage if call me if you need me, but I think you can handle it.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. And thanks for all of your hard work this couple of days and tomorrow. It's been amazing. And the speakers that you put together and all the HandyCon team, you guys have been great. So thank you so much.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. And of course, was just on and others. There's much more to me. And I think it's just really uncovering amazing people like you and everyone that are working hard to just show everybody what we're building, because we're all making stuff. That's what's amazing about this community. So
exciting things happening. Absolutely. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Hi, everybody. I wanted to say not only to thank the whole HandyCon crew. They've been fantastic, but I've seen so many familiar faces from our communication on Twitter, and thanks everybody for all your support, and of course Anne and Encrypted and everybody who's done so much to make this happen. And to be a speaker in HandyCon this year, I was geeking out watching it last year, so this has been fantastic. For those of you who don't know, my name is Kirk Salen. I am one of the founding partners of the Legit Company. Some of you might have seen me on Twitter as .legit or Kirk Salen. I do really enjoy being part of the HNS community. I'm excited to be here today to talk to you about the infinite possibilities of HNS and TLD ownership, specifically branding and why branding is so important. So what is a brand? Simply put, it's a representation of your business and rules for how it communicates and interacts with your customers. So every TLD and every SLD, for that matter, has the opportunity to be its own brand. Just as in life, it is what you make of it. So many people ask, what's in a name? And I've heard over and over and over again in HNS circles that everybody wants the short, easily recognizable names for their domain purchases. My point of view has been that success is in the execution. So just like in life, your brand is what you make of it. So let's say you own a TLD and it's a recognizable word. How many definitions are there for it? And how do you enforce the definition that you want? So a couple of examples, say, take Zach Brown and Dot Records, for example. They've done a great job at defining that TLD around music. Whereas a lot of people could easily see that would be legal records, financial records, or something like that. And of course, everybody knows Noel Opperman at TX. He's done a great job of branding that two-letter TLD to represent the state of Texas instead of what a lot of people at first saw was the representation of the word transaction. So both of these are great examples of taking a vision and sculpting their brand into what they want it to be. And everyone faces challenges in guiding how their brand is seen and defined, but you have the power to define, create, and manage your brand. And with well over 10 million TLDs registered in Handshake, how are you going to stand out? Your brand is a way for customers to be attracted to you and interact with your business. It's demonstrating the personality of your company and letting people know what they can expect from you. Massive businesses have been built on names that were just made up. These names that now are so recognizable were once gibberish. They meant nothing. Verizon, Pepsi, Kodak, Sony, IKEA, and .com, none of these existed before the businesses built them into what they are by creating a brand. Your TLD is the ultimate blank canvas or block of clay. You're able to transform it into whatever you can envision. Here are some questions to ask yourself to help define what your brand is. What is the voice of your brand? What is the message of your brand? What does your brand look like? What does your brand sound like? Who are your customers? This is a specifically important question because that tells you who you're trying to connect with. What is your brand's mission? What is it built to do? What's special and specific about it? Use these answers and more to create a set of rules for how your brand operates. These become the guides for everything your brand does and does not do. This will help you build a connection between your customers and your brand that leads to customers taking actions like making purchases and letting other people know about your brand. Speaking of branding, I am extremely fortunate to work with two of the best in the business whose talent in creating brands people love is unsurpassed. And these are the other founding partners of Legit. Devon Davis, who will be talking today about sonic branding. He's an impressive hybrid of business and creative. Devon brings years of experience with independent investment and consulting firms, along with professional music industry experience with Interscope Records, Warner Brothers, and advertising jingle experience working with such giants as Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Jenny Craig, and Levi's. He even lets us see his platinum album on his wall if we ask nicely. But first, Jason Fryer is going to be talking to us about visual branding. Jason is an award-winning designer and he's had a long career building and promoting Fortune 500 companies and brands such as Apple, Gatorade, Pepsi, Fiji Water, Nissan, Visa, and many more. He brings a powerhouse of design and brand identity skills to the team. But before I forget, Jason designed some swag just for HandyCon, and it's on legit.life. And right now we've got a coupon code for everybody. If you type in HandyCon at checkout, you get 25% off. So with that, Jason, it's all yours.
Awesome. Thank you, Kirk. And, we've got to give Kirk some props too. He's one of the most amazing photographers, talented entrepreneurs I've ever met. So very, very lucky to be working with him.
Thank you, Jason.
I am going to share a little PDF here for everybody. All right. So brand building. As Kirk mentioned, I've been doing this for 20, 25 years now for some pretty big brands. I take you through just, obviously can't give you 20 years in 5 minutes, but just, a very brief overview. This can work for anything. I know we're talking about SLDs, TLDs, but again, this is, just kind of branding 101, if you will. Why is branding important? Look at the competition. This is like a supermarket. It's like there's a million competitors. Whatever your industry is, your brand is. There's a lot out there, and you got to do everything you can to stand out. So how do you do that? How do we stand out? How do we make ourselves become the crowd favorite, if you will? Branding 101. Branding is crucial. It's the process of creating a unique identity and image for your company, product, or service. A strong brand can help you differentiate yourself from your competitors, build trust with your audience, ultimately drive sales. So a couple key elements of branding. And again, this kind of just is in general for whatever industry you're in. Your brand identity. This can include your company's name, logo, your tagline, any other visual elements that represent your brand. Your brand identity should be consistent across all platforms to create a recognizable and memorable image. Number 2, brand voice. This refers to the tone, language, and personality of your brand. It's how you communicate with your audience and the kind of relationship you want to establish with them. Number 3, brand positioning. This is how you position your brand in the marketplace relative to your competitors. It involves understanding your target audience, your unique value proposition, and what sets you apart from others in your particular industry. And finally, your brand story. This is the narrative behind your brand that connects with your audience on an emotional level. It can be used to build trust and establish a deeper connection with your customers. So personally, when I'm building a brand or helping a brand, there's a few things that I personally kind of look at. One, you got to be iconic. Like here's some major brands here, and just like I put little pieces of them, and you can probably recognize them just from a little piece of their logo. You got Heineken up there, Adidas, Toyota. You can see McDonald's. I mean, just a little piece of these logos. They're so iconic. You can't. They're super memorable. You got to kind of keep it simple and just obviously color plays an important role. And moving on to color, obviously there's a color theory is a very vast thing to explore. But very simply, here's a very quick overview with some major brands, and like yellow, it kind of embodies optimism, clarity and warmth, and you'll see, Nikon, UPS, IMDb, Subway, Best Buy kind of, embrace this yellow. Friendly's orange, Nickelodeon, Amazon, Payless Shoes, Fanta. You got your excitement, old, it's red, Kellogg's, Nintendo, Coca-Cola. Purple tends to suggest creativity, imaginative, wise, like the Sci-Fi Channel, Yahoo, and Blue's Trust. You got Dell Computers, AT&T, Lowe's, American Express, and peaceful. The calm sensibility of like Animal Planet. We've got BP in here, and then balance is kind of like this grayish silver color. It's calm. It's Apple. It's the New York Times. It's Honda. It's Nike. And then on the outliers out here on the top right, you'll see kind of more colorful. It's a little bit more about diversity, and it kind of embodies kind of a range of these feelings, if you will. And also, a lot of logos have hidden meanings, which is kind of cool because it's like you don't notice it first. I think everybody probably knows FedEx. You got that arrow in between the E and the X, kind of signals moving forward. Your packages are they're moving your stuff at hyper speed. And some less known, Tostitos. Well, this one's probably a little more well known, but if you zoom in on the two guys there, they're dipping a chip in the salsa. Kind of cool. The Tour de France logo. If you zoom in on the OUR there, it's a guy riding his bike. It's so there's lots of meanings here. The Baskin Robbins, obviously, when they initially launched their brand, there were 31 flavors. They had first ice cream company in the world to offer that many flavors. So they pay homage. If you look at the pink there, the 31 is in the B and the R. Wendy's, when they rebranded recently, they got their Wendy there, the redheaded girl. But if you zoom in on her neck there, you'll see it says MOM because they want to signal that it's like mom's home cooking. A couple others, Cisco. Obviously, these lines represent signals, waves, Wi-Fi, whatnot. But it also, if you look at it, it represents the Golden Gate Bridge, and Cisco is headquartered in San Francisco, so they were referencing their hometown there. Sony Vios, their music division. The V and the A there, it's kind of a music wave. And then the I and the O is a 1 and a 0, which is, binary code. BMW, obviously, the Bavarian Motorworks. They come from boats and planes back in the day, so that blue and white in there represents a propeller or a boat impeller. So there's a lot of hidden meanings in logos, and it's important to when you're designing your brand to really just think all these things through. So when I joined Legit Company, Kirk is very talented, and it's a great start. It is. It's a great start.
It's a great photographer.
He came to me and he's like, yeah, like I got this amazing opportunity company, and here, we're going to be .legit, and this is the logo, and it works. It communicates what we need to communicate, but we kind of tore it apart and got to here. But so how did we get from here to here, right? So lots of sketching, lots of it's a messy process. It's the creative process. It's hard. It's you can't really define it, but so we kind of took a step back and we were like, okay, legit is about we're thinking of being legit as how do I say, like thinking about like the Twitter blue check. You're verified, you're legit. Like, so we started off thinking about this check mark and just being legitimate. And so we explored that. And again, here's some artboards. Messy process, and there's no rhyme or reason. It's just you're throwing a bunch of stuff down. You're sketching. You're designing the computer. And we always, or not we, but I personally always kind of distilled down to about 8 kind of logos. And these were all, again, based on being legit, check mark, verified, if you will. And we looked at them and we're like, okay, there's some good stuff here. And then we came together, the 3 of us, and we're like, okay, well, this might not be the way to go. And, that happens. Like there's rounds and rounds and rounds we go. So we said, okay, well, it is about being unique. It's about individuality. So maybe the check mark doesn't quite represent that well. So we went back to the drawing board, and again, messy, like looking at stuff, sketching and drawing on the computer and all these things, Illustrator. And we're thinking, okay, fingerprint, what makes people unique, what makes people individuals? So we, again, down to 8 again. And, like the crown was kind of interesting. It's like, you're legit, you're the king of the castle. It's like, and then looking at these fingerprints kind of intrigued us. On the top right here, you'll see, we were really, interested in that one. So we kind of basically picked a couple here. We went back. We liked the star from the first round, which is a star and a check mark. We're looking at these and we're like, okay, all right, how do we pick? How do you decide? Because they could all work, right? So back to the drawing board. We're looking at colors. We're looking at variations on these things. We said, let's throw these on a T-shirt and look at color options. For me personally, the way I was trained, it's like if something works on a T-shirt, it's good. It's simple, it's basic, it's iconic. So we looked at these 3 logos on a T-shirt, and there's one clear winner. It was this guy. It's a thumbprint, and if you look, LGIT, this fingerprint is made from the letters LGIT. It's a little abstract. You'll see it. And then, going back to the color theory, we're like, okay, like what color combinations do we need? And we're like, what? This is about individuality. So it's everything. This is a window to anything you want to be. It's any color, any image. And that's just the way it fleshed out, and we couldn't be more happy. And that's kind of a brief 10 minutes of how we became how we got this identity. And I am going to pass it on to the talented Devon Davis.
Thanks, Jason. So it was a wonderful talk on our journey to our own branding. And it was an exercise that we all were able to enjoy and participate in for something of our own that we've done for many clients in the past. So a part of that process was also trying to find a way to express our branding orally for the years. It's something that I've done for quite some time. And can be every bit as challenging because you're trying to find a way to connect with your audience emotionally through the through the expression of sound. So I'll share a PDF here. Okay, so what is sonic branding? Quite simply, sonic branding is a way to express uh, the philosophy of your company, the theme of your company, your brand through sound. Um, it is a great way for you to sustain a connection with your audience or your potential clients or customer base, um, along with or even outside of your visual branding. Most of sonic branding happens uh, as a way to support the visual branding, but it can sometimes be the primary way that you're communicating with folks. The idea is that you want to be able to increase your brand recognition. So if you have someone who is already very used to your branding, or maybe not, but certainly if they are familiar with your brand, they've seen your logo, but they don't have the ability to see it on a particular platform, say on a streaming service or whatever that may, whatever case may be, that oral branding will help continue to keep you connected to your customers, to your audience. One of the great examples of that, I guess there are two examples. Kirk reminded me of one that's more, I guess, apropos of the day. But one would be the NBC oral branding that you hear, the three-tone branding that they use. And the other would be the sort of sound effect branding that comes along with Netflix, which is the one that Kirk reminded me of. And many of us who use that service can already hear that even as I speak of it. So it's just another way to emotionally connect to your audience and keep your branding, your expression directly in front of your audience. And this just kind of reiterates what I was talking about. So if you're one of the things I can find myself doing during the day is I'll have maybe a YouTube channel playing in the background. I'm not really watching it. It's playing for me, just to kind of be a background for me, keep my day, my busy day, to break up the monotony. And so if I'm not actually watching my screen, but I actually hear the oral branding or the sonic branding of this particular company, it automatically reminds me of what I know about that company's logo, their visual branding, the whole bit of it, all because of sound. And this is something that all of the big companies do. You know, you can pretty much find in almost all of those visual brands that Jason touched on earlier. You'll find that almost all of them have some form of sonic branding, so that when you're not looking at them, you're still hearing them. So in conclusion, that is a big part of what we do with Legit as a branding services company on the branding services side of what we do. We are not only looking to give you the one package that will catch you visually, which Jason is so expert at doing. But we also look to support that with something oral so that all of the senses, as many as you can capture when you're reaching out to people and looking to connect them to your brand so that all of them are touched upon. And that's not a Friday. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Devon. Thanks, Jason. That was fantastic. I appreciate that. We had a little bit of a poll going, which is kind of cool. The poll is just simply, do you have a TLD that you want to brand? And we've got a little bit more than half that do. For those of you that do, or those of you that are planning to, do you have any questions for us? Can we help you guidance on any of that? Let's see, it's coming down here. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Fantastic. So like I said a little bit before in the beginning, Jason did design some stuff with the Handshake logo and Legit logo. And that stuff's on legit.life or available on Handshake, just legit / and then on Varo or the SLDs, that's get legit. Let's see, Mike, have a question coming in. How much should one budget? That is really an excellent question, and it kind of depends on what you're planning to do with your branding. Jason, do you want to touch on that a little bit more?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's just something you need to talk to your branding agency about, because like for instance, if FedEx came to me and wanted to rebrand, versus a company like Legit, that's just starting out, it's a very, 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 very vastly different scope of work. It just runs the gamut. It's not something I could give you off the top of my head. It's something you have to talk about. It could range from 5,000 to 500,000, to be honest. It's just something you need to.
I'd say to expound upon what Jason's saying. It is very much situational. I know when I've been a part of projects, sometimes it was dependent on the client themselves, where they were in their growth process, where they, because I can't necessarily charge a startup, a brand new startup, the same way that I would charge, say, Pepsi. And so we try to sort of keep that in mind. And it's also how much work is going into the process.
It's very much on an individual basis. So yeah, everything is depending on exactly what the goals are set. I got a couple other questions. I know we're running short on time. And for Mike's question about time, it's depends on the goals that are set and how the communication is with the client, because like Jason put in his step through of what we did with Legit, we had to go back several times because it just wasn't getting us to where we wanted to go. So it kind of depends on what that process looks like. Alex had a great question. He said, how did you decide to start with clothing? And is there something else in the works coming? Maybe sponsor some people. We wanted to do something that was outside of what HNS traditionally is, to try to reach out and bring more people into the community. And so we decided a lifestyle brand was very compatible with what Legit was all about. And actually, in the video that Mike brought up, earlier, we go into that a lot more. And is there something else in the works? Yes, we're very excited about some of the products that we're working on, and we have some stuff that is very, very different that we're super excited about, and we can't disclose that right now. But as soon as it's ready to go, we will be putting that out there, and we're super excited about that. And sponsoring people, yeah, actually, we're in discussions with somebody right now to be doing that. And if you guys have,
I think he has some insider information here. He knows. And I will say, thank you, Alex. We just noticed you bought a shirt, and we are very, very appreciative of that.
Yes, thank you for that support.
Let's see. Very kind of you, Alex. And big fan of the rugs. And I know that we already talked about it, but I think that that we're local too. So definitely we'll have to talk about that more in the future.
We love exchange of services. You know, we didn't really touch upon this. We're obviously creatives. We don't have a developer on our team, so you know we know there's a lot of developers out there, and you know. If the stars align and there's a developer out there and you guys need some branding, some design, we would love to talk.
Let's see, one more question. Mike, I don't know how we're doing on time, but let me get this one last one. People might want to brand their SLD separately, true. Depending on the TLD, something to keep in mind is how deep to get the branding in. That's true. And people are going to have that opportunity, just like in .com, .net, you know, to choose which extension they're going to go with, and SLDs absolutely can be their own brand, 100%. So that's going to be an issue too. Truly. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for having us.
Thank you, everyone.
Impossible. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Awesome. We are legit, and our first name is our email. So Kirk@legit.life, Devon @legit.life, Jason @legit.life. We're also on Twitter @legit or Kirk Salen. We'd love to hear from you guys. If you have any questions or we can help with anything, please reach out.
Awesome. Great. Thanks
We're here for you guys. Any branding, anything you want to talk about, we're happy to help. Love to be part
Yeah,
of
it seems like you're getting some good feedback. I do agree. I think there's a lot of people in the community need your insight and help. So I'm excited to see this develop. All right, everybody. So we're gonna wrap up here and then go into the final session for today with Sajin about your name for the internet is the title, and he's also in the India Registrar Agamin. I think he's a great speaker, so I'm super excited for this one. So stick around for the last one, and then we'll check leaderboards and talk about tomorrow. Thank you, everybody.
It's going to be great. Thank you.